All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to the Onelife Podcast. We're here with Ricardo from the Ricardo Arts.
Yes, sir.
We just recently met, ex-Jabbawockeez, correct?
Yeah.
Lifelong breakdancer. What age did you start breakdancing?
Just wanted to be a ninja, and that was the closest thing I could come to.
What age did you start, though?
Oh, what age did I start? I would say about 13, 14.
Okay. Oh, so you started kind of late.
Yeah.
Kind of early, but kind of late.
Yeah, it was around 1997 that I started.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you're transitioning to your own business where you're dancing and painting together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you the only one in the world doing that? Is that something like you've been inspired by somebody else?
Yeah, I was actually taught by my mentor, David Garibaldi. He's been doing it for a long time. He's actually a dancer as well.
Where's he based out of?
In Sacramento.
Okay.
California, yeah. But then along the way, learning from him, I've got to meet other handful of speed painters around the world.
Speed painters.
Yeah.
Why is it called speed painting?
Because it's fast and it goes by fast.
Fast-paced and...
But that was a whole trick of it and the whole where it started from.
Okay.
There was a guy named Denny Dent who started it, and then he actually had a show here in Vegas back in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was
a breakdancer.
No, he wasn't breakdancing
I was
at all.
Say, that
he was just a painter.
Oh, he was just a painter.
Yeah, he was just a painter, painting by hands. He had this thing, I can't remember the name. It's kind of like went over my head right now. It was like fast punch painting, where he had like 5 paintbrushes on each hand, and he would paint with all of them.
Oh, really?
Or just paint with his fingertips and paint like Jimi Hendrix or Jim Morrison, anybody.
What casino was he at?
I can't remember. It was one of the old ones. I actually went to his house while I was learning how to get into this art from my mentor at the time. He had a show out in Denver, and he was like, "Hey, we need to hop on a flight and go to Denver."
Gotcha.
And then we ended up going to the guy's house and going down into his vault, and you saw a timeline of all the things that he's done over his years.
Cool.
And it was dope because one of his first shows was actually here in Las Vegas at Sunset Park, where I live.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Just so, that's literally like 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's kind of like there's like an aura that I feel every time that I paint, because I have my studio inside my house, and if I feel like an aura from like him or birthing that type of art.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Dude, Vegas is a funny place, right? When you look back at the history of Vegas.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Elvis movie? The newest Elvis
No,
movie?
I haven't.
Dude,
I've been wanting to.
Oh my God. Like,
it seems...
it's so cool.
Yeah.
It shows old school Vegas. It shows that like where he was based wasn't even on the Strip. It was down at Westgate.
Oh, wow.
Which is now Westgate.
Yes.
Whoever talks about Westgate? Nobody.
Nobody.
I mean, if you go on a convention, you may stay there, but nobody talks about it. Like, it's not even part of the Strip.
It doesn't sound too cool.
Yeah, but I mean, Elvis was literally based there and living upstance at the top.
Wow. And it was the height of its career. Probably.
Yeah, so there's so many things that have been through Vegas, like...
Yeah.
And like Flamingo being like the original casino, but the most insignificant casino now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Take me back. So 97, you start dancing.
Mm-hmm.
What inspires you to become a breakdancer?
It was basically kind of growing up, learning from all those dance music videos. That was
who were you inspired by? Who were you watching?
Man, everybody at that time: James Brown, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Belle Biv DeVoe, like every hip hop dance thing, anything that had to do with dancing. I started recording it on VHS tapes.
Did you really?
And that became my YouTube, my own.
Like
YouTube.
You're watching yourself.
Yeah. I started teaching myself how to do the choreography in the music videos.
Oh, so what, you're filming the music videos on TV?
Yeah, I was just recording them on a VHS.
And then just breaking it down.
Yeah, and then I put all my favorite music videos and would watch them throughout the day, and I would teach myself to dance.
Gotcha.
So that was like my own little playlist music video.
What was some of the things stand out to you that you're learning? Like, what type of moves like really resonated with you?
Oh, well, I mean, the breakdancing, of course. Anytime that somebody came out and started like doing floor work, breakdancing, any of that stuff that was like flipping or turning or spinning, besides the choreography, that was the expression to me. I was just so
that's hard to film something and break it down and learn it in real time.
Yeah, and
it's hard to do that with anything.
Yeah. That's why kids are learning so much quicker nowadays, because they could go back and record off a mouse pad.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm learning guitar right now, and I've got an app.
Yeah.
And it gives me the chords to the song.
Oh, sweet.
And then I'm able to loop whatever section I want.
Nice.
And then I'm able to slow it down by 0.75,
Yes.
0.50, 0.25.
Damn.
And it makes learning so much easier. You get stuck in one section, you can literally isolate it, break it down, slow it down, and then it makes it so much easier. And I mean, I've done dancing over the years, and I know how hard it is to learn from something that's full speed.
Oh, yeah.
Never learned breakdancing.
Yeah.
I mean, like I did a bit of popping and just learning how to do like an arm wave.
Oh,
I would use a metrotone,
Oh, nice.
and it's like,
Yeah. And you learn
and
how
I would start very slow, and I'd be like, do,
Yes.
do, and then I would speed it up, and before I know it, it just end up this one fluent movement. So that's how I kind of did it.
No, that's
but
true.
I couldn't imagine trying to learn off VHS in '97 off a videotape
I was trying
at that degree.
Yeah, I was trying everything I could to just remember it and get to it quicker
Yeah.
as much as possible. And then over the years, I've taught myself how to play guitar too.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
I took a couple classes while I was in community college, and then I had a couple music teachers when I first started learning how to play saxophone.
Oh, wow.
When I was in like 6th grade and all that.
So you're like multi-talented.
A little bit. I think I just dabbled in a little bit of everything, that I've just kind of opened my mind up to learning a little bit of what everybody has to go through to get to what they want to do.
I think too, if you learn any type of skill, you realize it's discipline, it's consistency, it's patience. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah,
it takes time, and it's a journey.
Yeah.
Whether it's dancing or guitar or weight loss or business, or I feel like a lot of people, like, especially these days, instant gratification, they don't realize, like, how long did it take you to learn the guitar properly? Like, years, right?
Yeah, years. I mean, to this day, I still don't think I can play well, but I can play a song at least, you know. And
my photography, my videography, it's constantly learning. You can always get better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And just, polish and then see what works for you, too.
That's the thing, too, right? Taking what you want out of it and making it your own. And I mean, there's so many different ways of playing the guitar. Mm-hmm. I mean, you probably play completely different to the way I play or I want to play. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with either one of them.
No.
So you're doing the dancing. When did you find you just got the bug or you were hooked? Was it day one? Were you on and off?
Growing up as a kid, I was always just dancing a lot, so that my friends started throwing, when I was a kid, like my friends used to have dance parties at their place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so then they would be like, oh, $10 if you whoever the best dancer is.
Gotcha.
So of course I was just dancing, not for the money.
Going in blind.
But just kind of like having fun and enjoying it. The music was so great around then, So, I mean, not that the music isn't dope, but now that music then was just so brand new, like the new hip hop era, like anything that was just, even like Latin music that I grew up watching and learning from my grandmother. She was just teaching me how to do merengue and all that stuff too. But it was just, it had so much joy. And then, I would always have friends' birthdays parties, and then my mom would be like, hey, you should throw a dance party, to the parents, and be like, you'll see him bug out. And then
did you have natural rhythm?
I think so. I guess
Do you think that exists or not?
I think so. I think some people find it quicker than others.
Do you think it's the ability just to hear the beat and count the beat? Because I had no idea what a beat was until I was taught.
Yeah.
Whereas, did you feel like you naturally just could hear a beat?
Yeah, I think it was just that, and then seeing my grandfather like making boots. And then he'd be dancing while he would make boots. He was a cobbler. Okay. And he would just be listening to music all day, like playing it. And I was just like, okay,
gotcha.
That sound of like the hammer and hitting the nail into the boot, and he would do it to the music.
Some people don't hear it, right?
No, and it's something that I think it felt. And once you
once you learn to feel it.
Yeah, and then you find the body awareness of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, a lot of people say, I can't dance. Do you feel like anybody can dance with practice?
Anybody can dance, yeah.
I feel like anyone can do anything.
Yeah.
Is it going to take some people longer to pick it up than others? Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, can I learn to sing? Yes. Am I going to be a professional singer? Probably no chance.
Right.
So, I mean, anybody can dance to a certain point.
Right, yeah.
And then it goes back to that discipline, consistency, and then I think natural talent is also.
Yeah.
And then, like Will Smith says, like, hard work outbeats natural talent any day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I think if you got natural talent and you put hard work in, I think you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then if you got the passion for it, which obviously you did, that allows you to like practice more, train more, and just pursue to the level you took it at.
Yeah. I agree, definitely. I mean, it's some people, they can't dance, and then just because they're how to like be what do you call it, when coordination and everything, that helps a lot. Biggest thing, to be coordinate with everything. And that more so, just the more you practice it, it's like the talent is a muscle, so you have to keep flexing it, keep working at it the more you want to do it.
And the coordination, I know people don't know the lesson rights.
Yeah, exactly.
It blows my mind. You don't know which one your left hand or right hand is.
Right.
And I've done a lot of martial arts over the years, so it's always like left, right, right, or whatever it is. So that helps.
Yeah.
And that transitions into a lot of things.
Yep.
But yeah, you meet people who don't have the left, right hand.
They don't.
So they're probably going to struggle to dance a little bit harder than someone else.
Oh yeah, definitely. It might take you longer, but I mean, I've seen people that can dance around the world that had like missing arms, but it was mechanical arms and the mechanical legs, and they're still breakdancing. And I'm like, nobody can have an excuse. And if people tell me that they have two left feet, I'm like, dude, let me see it. I've never seen 2 left feet before.
Yeah.
I actually really want to see it.
And then, like, let me give you lessons that I can teach you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to be taught?
Yeah.
Or you just want to use them as an excuse?
Right. Or just keep walking in circles the whole time because you're just saying 2 left feet somewhere.
Where'd you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Texas till I was like about 8. And then I moved to Vegas in 93.
Okay. So coming to Vegas probably opened a lot of doors for you.
Mindset was, because everything's so fast over here.
But I mean, like, being a dancer in Texas opposed to Vegas is probably 2 different animals.
Yeah, like, completely.
It's probably a lot more opportunity here for a dancer.
Yeah. I mean, at that point when I was growing up, within, learning and then, passing high school, I went to my first audition. I ditched school with my friends and we went to go audition for this show called De La Guardia. And it was,
did you?
Yeah, and it was a show that was at the Rio at the time when Rio was big. And we wanted to see what it was about though too. So that kind of helped broaden more of a spectrum for me to understand the entertainment world. So
it's probably very motivating too, knowing there's an option to become a professional dancer. Like, what I mean? If you dance in one place and like, oh, there's no career come out of this, or like, hey, like 5 minutes away, I can be dancing, get paid to dance on a show on the strip. Yeah, that's probably motivating.
It was trying to figure it out. Like, honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, even though I had so much fun dancing with my friends, we didn't know if it was going to be a business or not. We were just doing it because we had fun.
Did you ever do the hustling on the street, like dancing? Tips?
Yeah. I mean,
how important is that?
Very important, I think.
Do you feel like that really helps you grow to become a better, like, performing, hustling, all the above?
Yeah, in a different way on how you interpret it, though, too.
What do you mean?
For some people, like, it's just harder for them to understand. Like, it's depending if you want to just go there to make the money, or do you want to go there for experience and make the money as well?
That's kind of what I'm touching on, I think. Yeah.
So for me, we always kind of learned how to rock a crowd, what was going to be our oohs and ahs to build a good show.
Yeah. You're performing, right? Yes. You're not just going through the motions for the money.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so then you build a show off of that. We would always make our big tricks at the end, where our friends would either flip off the wall or we do a big old flip after, and then that's how street performing is.
So you're building your own show. And then you're learning to engage with the crowd.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then seeing the shows like Circus Soleil and all that growing up, we see how everything kind of just goes up to a big, huge, explosive ending, So seeing how that works in the perspective of it, we would try to mimic that in some way.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
What was some of the biggest lessons you learned from doing the street performing? Was it like...
Man, the goods or the bads? No.
bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the bads is just like, it sucks that street performing is looked at by, lowest, poorest people,
It's looked down upon, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been on the streets and some girl was just like, oh, look at this crackhead, and I'm like, I don't do crack. Like, I'm actually learning how to perform again, learning how to work the crowd and all that stuff. But because over the years, since when street performing was just the height of its career as well too, and like I've seen probably the best performers on the streets. And
a lot of them started there, right?
Yeah.
Magicians, performers.
Yep.
Like a lot of people.
Everybody that you see on casinos, it started from that. And for bigger shows that are traveling and touring and all that, like a lot of rappers that have grown up, they've done that too,
Yeah, hustling the CDs.
Yeah.
Like it's
guitar players,
sit at home, twiddle your thumbs, and hope an opportunity comes.
No, you can't.
Or get out there and hustle and try to build your name, and that's what should get more praise. The person out there doing something, right?
Yeah.
And this is my interpretation of it. I think because it's not ruled, it's not governed any different between a homeless person there begging for money,
right,
and you out there performing. Mm-hmm. It's no difference.
No difference, no.
I mean, I think there's a huge difference, but there's no rule governing or making it any different for you.
Yeah.
And you tend to get treated like the homeless person because you're out there. Even though you got more skill than anyone could possibly imagine.
No.
I think that's why it gets looked down upon.
Yes.
And I mean, you could be doing that to make money, to pay for school and become a doctor.
Right.
Or you could be doing that because I want to be a performer on the strip.
Yes. It's a platform of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like looking at it like if you could see the world's greatest painter, but they're painting on the street, nobody's going to know the difference.
The perception, right?
It's a perception.
Yeah.
So if you're on a stage, lights, boom, the whole thing, it's on a different level.
That's so crazy. Because even me, from being a performer, like being in a show, as soon as you're on stage, as soon as the lights are on you, people treat you so much different.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
And you probably notice it like night and day difference, right?
Completely.
Between the two.
All the time. Different parts of the world, different stages. Like, yeah. I mean, I was just at a gig in Austin doing it for, some bunch of millionaires and stuff. But I'm just painting their company logo and a skyline and all that. But at the same time, too, they don't know who I am and all that stuff. And I'm not saying they should or anything. But if I was on a stage and I was doing a painting of like their CEO or something, they're going to be like, oh, that was cool. That was awesome. But let alone they have me on the side just painting for about 2 hours, ambiance. They're like, oh, it's like they hired some little street painter.
What do you think we judge it? Why do you think people judge each other? What do you think you think it's like, what's the word? It's insecurity.
Oh,
do you think it's self-insecurity? Do you think people need a hierarchy to make themselves feel better about themselves? Why do we tear each other down? And why do we think, like, why do you think you're better than a cashier? Like, even though that cashier is going to school, become a nurse. Like, why do we do that, you think? Because you're experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
You've experienced from both sides, right?
Yeah, both sides. I mean, even being a stagehand back in the day, too. It was like,
yeah, you're a nobody. You're a stagehand. But as soon as you're
in the front,
on the front, you're a somebody.
Exactly.
Why do we do that?
I think it's just because over time, in the past of history, the way it's been, where gestures were just treated like gestures,
Yeah, that's a good point.
From back in those days to a king, and now it's like, it's kind of figured out a way to make it mend itself in a way, but now it's what's your act, and an act can go so far now, where people are like, big, huge proponent like that Ariana Grande is up here, and then a person that's down here that hasn't been singing for like big, huge name albums and all that, but her voice is just as great as hers. It's like you have to have that platform that brings you that way. And I think people just valuing that is harder for them to understand it now.
It's also, would you also argue it's being the right place at the right time? You talked about having similar talent.
Yeah.
I mean, like Justin Bieber was discovered from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he may not have been discovered, but the next person might have.
Yes. And
he might not be anybody today.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of mean, the right place at the right time.
No, I mean that I agree with that though too. I mean, there's been places where I've kind of right places, right time too.
Like, I mean, I'm sure there's worse dancers worse dancers than you have got a bigger platform than you, right?
But I don't really like to judge, but
no, I don't mean in comparison.
No, I feel you.
But I mean, there is definitely less talented people in different industries who are a lot bigger because of being in the right place at the right time, or a different type of hustle, or
definitely,
or a different age, or a different look, or a different
audition.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough to bite my tongue on, because even the TikTok kids now, they have way more opportunities than dancers that have way more experience than them and way more of a better show.
Yeah.
But because it's quicker to find them now when they have a bigger community than
it's nuts, right? Yeah. Even me, dude, like Thunder Down Under, I was a good looking guy in shape.
Still are.
But I mean, no dance experience.
Yeah.
No dance experience.
Right.
Here I come to Vegas, get stuck on stage to dance.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, and I don't know what you got paid compared to what I got paid, But things I've heard, I'm like, I'm just the guy who was in shape now on stage learning to dance.
Yeah.
You've been dancing your whole entire life.
Yeah.
Well, how's that fair? But it's the perception. It's the sex appeal. It's all these different aspects that come into play.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts, right?
It is, man. Trust me. I've beat myself over the head over it for so many years. And I try not to, because I went with this motto of like, you could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't have a community, you're the poorest person in the world. And it sucks to say that, but it's the truth, and that's the way the world works now. So you have to build. Yeah.
This podcast, right?
Yeah.
I'm putting up value. I'm making people accountable. I'm trying to change their lives. But it's going to take forever to get there.
Oh, yeah.
But if I was a pretty girl with big boobs on TikTok, it would have blown up by now.
Oh, yeah. And it's just like that. I mean, you just kind of have to learn that that's the game.
That is the game. Yeah. Whether it's fair or not, it's the game.
Yeah.
Or like a girl with big boobs make more money than a doctor. How's that fair?
Right.
It's not fair.
It's not.
But it is what it is.
Right. You know, and it's just like me looking at it like, oh, yeah, I've been dancing, but of course they're going to pick you over me because you're taller and you have the look and you're more, fit and all that stuff. But that's just where the world works.
It's that sex sells type of thing, right? And then I was a pretty girl, I'd do better than the guy.
Yes. Yeah. And then height difference and all that, discrimination and all that
we
stuff.
see that in bodybuilding, right? I don't know if you know much about bodybuilding, but you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, 6'2", Frank Colombo, about your size and your height.
Yeah. Big difference.
Big difference. Huge difference.
Arnold blew it out, and then Frank Colombo didn't.
Yeah. He's amazing, but he was never going to beat him just due to the height and the look. So.
And that's the way they kind of put it out there. Kind of like the way they put the news out there, The news, they pick what they want to talk about. And then those are their 5 topics of the week that they want to talk about. Oh, Kanye said this. Oh, we got freaking Ukrainian war and all these other things. They kind of typically put it that way to make everybody kind of think that way the whole time.
That's why I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
To touch on the news, actually, I read a thing, Oprah. She goes, don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar, I'm not sure if you know who he is. He's like, don't get up and read the newspaper. They're telling you what they want you to know.
Yeah.
I mean, my impression, if something's important enough, especially now social media, it's going to pop up. It's very hard to miss, like, if it's a shooting or something horrific happens, you're going to find out about it. You don't need to go looking for it.
Right.
As far as, like, so your dancing journey, you're dancing, you're getting better, you're starting to, like, see auditions. What was your journey into Jabbawockeez? Because, I mean, you got to be a top level to be in that. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very great show. I mean, thankfully, like, kind of right place, right time. They had auditions out here.
But were you auditioning for other shows beforehand? To get to that?
I was trying to get in anything.
Run me through some of the auditions, some things you did get, didn't get.
I mean, I've done like Star Search and TV back in 2001 and 2.
Is that like Old School X Factor?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
This one was coming back.
That's a while back.
Yeah,
right?
like Justin Timberlake and all them, like they were doing it when they were kids.
Oh, wow.
Back in the day when they were
were
giving 4 stars,
kids, right?
5 stars, yeah.
Yeah.
So then it came back for another round, and then that's when me and my crew were starting to do shows more.
So you weren't doing it by yourself, you're doing it as a group?
Yeah, we were doing it as a group. So as a crew, we were already competing, doing competitions just for breakdancing itself. But at the same time, too, we were like, we need to have shows. Like, we need to put it together. And, like, we looked up to this competition called Battle of the Year. And it's in Germany every year. And it's like the World Cup of breakdancing. And the best performances get to battle to win the competition. Okay. So we were starting to kind of learn that part from street performing and everything else.
Gotcha.
And from there, we were having a little bit more auditions because we got on the show. And then they kind of gave us a name. And then we started doing little couple halftime shows, losing money from managers and all that stuff. And then getting basically the roughest ride to learn about the industry. And I mean, it goes way more complex than that and all that. But we're starting to get more gainage on what we wanted to do in the future. Okay. Of what we wanted to see. So we, of course, keep going to all these auditions for Missy Elliott, for Christina Aguilera, like all these different types of things in LA. And then here too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, being in Vegas and close to LA, that's so priceless, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, man. Like day trips going there.
I mean, if you're in Alaska with the same talent, these opportunities aren't coming up.
No, you're
in Australia with the same talent, these opportunities aren't coming up.
No, I mean, I've met people from all over parts around the world just to come to the audition.
That you were just like an hour away or 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So that's So that is like pretty amazing that you had that opportunity.
Yeah, we had
even
to take
hearing about it, right?
Yeah, man.
You're more likely to hear about living in the same city.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had to take advantage of it no matter what. If we wanted to do this, we had to go to hell and back to do it.
Yeah.
You know? And that was the mindset of the work ethic that I kind of learned a lot from, you know. And
that's got to be motivating, right? With all these things popping up pretty consistently.
Yeah.
I didn't get this one. Maybe this one. Maybe this one.
Yep. It's just like Tinder. You keep scrolling until you land one, you know?
What was the first one you landed? Like, what was the first, like, oh my gosh, this actually might go somewhere?
Oh man. Well, Star Search kind of helped it, you know, actually give it some type of landing. Like, where we're like, man, we're not coasting as much. So then that kind of gave us a better,
like a stepping stone, right?
Yes,
it also gives you the confidence to know that, hey, we're actually getting better.
Yeah, like
maybe we can do this.
Even though our audition was horrible.
Was it really?
It was horrible, like the most worst audition, but we got on the show somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
What made it horrible?
Like, it was just we lost all of the counts, and it was just not as unison. Like
was it the pressure that got to you guys?
The pressure, the journey to get there. My car died right when we got to the audition. It was just dead right in the parking. Like as soon as I was about to park, it stopped halfway in the parking.
Damn.
And then we just pushed it in, and we're like, let's go see how this audition goes.
So you got this stress in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if we don't get this audition, how are we getting home?
Dude,
you know, kind of idea.
Crazy.
So it's just a journey like of stress and all that, and then not even having enough sleep. We're young. We don't even know what this world is like.
How old were you right then?
I was just around community college. I was the youngest one at that time, so I was about 18, 19.
Okay.
And everybody else about a year older
still
than me.
Pop, like still baby.
Yeah. So I mean, I had the chubby cheeks to be able to show it too. I had baby fat still running in my blood. But all that kind of gave it a little bit more of an understanding. And then, you know, started getting gigs here and there a little bit.
What type of gigs are you picking up?
Like halftime shows that we did.
At what?
We did a big, huge halftime show later on where we did it for an NBA playoff game in New Jersey or New York.
Oh, cool. So you were flying around the country doing jobs.
Kinda. We were still breakdancing battles, but then we started getting like offers and calls to like, hey, would you want to do a show? And we like whipped up a show in like a week.
And this is no social media presence.
No, not at all.
So this is like word of mouth or
yes, all of it.
Whole different game, right?
Completely, man.
I want to touch on this. If you're an upcoming dancer right now, what do you suggest?
Oh, just all the platforms.
Pump the platforms, right?
Yeah.
Get yourself as present as possible.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, because it's so much easier.
Yeah.
But you also get a lot more competition popping up too.
Oh, yeah. It changes every day.
Take advantage of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I started thinking in my mind within like the last 8 years, I was like, the world is my competition now. It's not just a platform.
But the world's also your oyster too.
Yes.
It's
got to go in cycles.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So go back to you. So you're getting little gigs. You're traveling around a bit. Mm-hmm. What was besides the Star Search? What was the next kind of popping thing that popped for you?
We did the competition Battle of the Year.
Yeah.
We did it in 2005.
Yep.
And then we won it
in Germany.
No, we actually won it in U.S. They finally had a U.S.
How convenient.
A regional version.
Could you afford to get to Germany if you had to?
We had to they paid for some of the tickets, and then we had to figure out a way to make more money to fly the rest of the crew to the. But what another thing was on top of that is we're shooting a documentary now.
Oh, really?
Not for us. They were shooting a documentary for the competition.
Oh, okay.
And also for other crews that were going to be in the competition.
Gotcha. So they're following you.
Yeah, two from Korea, one from Japan, one from France, and then us.
Gotcha.
And it was
you're the only one in the States.
Yeah.
So you guys were like top of. Would you say you're the top people in America?
Yeah. We at that time, yeah.
Okay.
We were like as crew wise, yeah. Because a lot of crews back in the day, they either kind of stayed together or didn't fall off. But at that time, there was a lot more crews with like not over 7 to 10 people.
Okay.
Now it's harder to find that, because it's just trickled off into so many different things.
Okay.
But people can get together and put crews and all that stuff.
Gotcha. How many were in your crew? Like 7 to 10?
At that time, yeah, it was about like 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were these guys from around the country?
No, mostly between Texas and Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. Originally where I was from. So some guys that I knew or didn't know that lived down the street from me actually when I was a kid out in Texas ended up being in my crew. And then we went back to Texas, and then I was like, yo, I live down the street from here. And they're like, for real? I was like, yeah, like right next to that park. Really? And this whole time we didn't know that we were like getting raised up there in Texas.
You know they say like white guys can't dance. Do you have many white dancers in the crew?
Did we? I mean, kind of technically, some of my friends, they were Mexican, but they looked way more white.
Okay.
But they didn't speak Spanish or anything like that. Yeah. And they were the only ones that could dance. I mean, yeah, like one of my best friends, he was like one of the biggest. Remember when hand hops came around? He was a big proponent of that. Okay. Into the breakdancing world, he would just mastered it as much as possible.
Gotcha.
And I mean, he would dance too and everything, you know, like we saw. But back then we saw a lot of Russians and Ukrainians and Germans that we grew up watching that were already dancing, and we were like, you can't say that white boys can't dance, because those cats can dance over there.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and they were already like B-Boy Storm. He wrote a book. He was a B-Boy philosopher. Gotcha. And still to this day, he's a judge and still breakdances, and he's like close to 60 now and still breakdances.
Wow.
And it's just like we grew up knowing that there was white boys that could dance and white girls that could dance. There's just harder to find, I guess.
Yeah, there's stigma in the States.
Yeah.
What was your first like big gig?
Big one?
Like the one, like did you get a music video or something? Did you get like...
We did some...
What was the thing just like, oh my gosh, can't believe we're doing this?
Damn, it's kind of tough to remember right now. But I guess that documentary was really big at that time. I would say that was big because when Netflix came out, Netflix was just like not cool.
No, it was like sending DVD. I couldn't remember the word DVDs.
Yeah, no,
sending DVDs to houses, right?
They had the Netflix DVD like red boxes and stuff. And when Netflix blew up, they took our documentary out.
Oh, dude, really?
Yeah,
really.
And then we actually got it shown on MTV, but at that point MTV was starting to get like not as cool anymore either. So it was kind of cool. God, that was just really pinnacle for our crew to see. I would say when we had our first Broadway show in New York.
Oh, really?
In 2008.
That's cool.
Yeah, we put it together.
You got a Broadway show. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun for a month.
Where was that at?
It was in New York, Times Square.
Really?
Yeah, we were just doing it there. We had Robert De Niro come watch the show with his family. Got to come backstage and meet us and stuff. Didn't ask us anything, but just one question was like, so you guys are from Vegas? And we were like, yeah. And he was like, all right, cool. You know, even though it says everywhere like we're from Vegas, all this stuff. The show's called Rewind.
I mean, he's probably just making an effort with you guys.
Yeah, but his son was very like cool, like very young. I think he was about 10 at the time. Gotcha. And he was like, "Oh, I really enjoyed the show."
So you did a show in Times Square.
Yeah.
How many people were watching that?
Man, and we would say about close to 400, 500 people in the theater.
Was there TV coverage on that too, or not?
No, it was just theater show.
I mean, that's cool though.
Yeah, we would have 2 shows a day, one for the kids from schools, and they would bring them all in school buses to come watch our show in the daytime. Gotcha. And then at night, people could come watch the show.
Is it cool thinking you're motivating like young dancers like to get started?
Hoping. Yeah. You know, that was the idea. I mean, that's how it happened for us too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like any professional athlete's got to remember like who motivated them.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people, basketball players, like Jordan motivated me to be where I'm at today, or Tiger Woods, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Hopefully, you know, we did, and then you know we run into him nowadays and stuff and see him.
Yeah. And they're kicking your butt. Yeah. You took my best moves, and now you're better than me.
Yep. I mean, there's kids that I was teaching back in the day when I was like around that time as well that I see that they're fully grown, taller than me and all that. And they're amazing. Really? Yeah. And they're still living in town, or if not, they move to bigger, better places.
So pretty rewarding to see that.
Yeah. I mean, and then they're a part of our group now too, which we still teach them. And now they get to do their own things and, you know, still seeing their parents and family like, hey, you know, like it's been so long. Like now, a decade later, like your kids are on, you know, big competitions now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's very rewarding. Like
how long did it take you to get into Jabbawockeez, and how was that process?
Well, when they came out here, they had a show, and then they brought my other crew that's kind of like our all-star crew that's known for out here called Super Crew. Okay. And we were basically like a dream team. We had 3 crews: Battle Monkeys, Full Force, and Knucklehead Zoo, which is our crew, and they went to go win ABDC, which is America's Best Dance Crew, the one that Jabbawockeez won the season before.
Yeah.
So when they won that,
that's how they got to where they're at, right? Was winning.
That one kicked it off for them.
Yeah,
because the gimmick, the whole thing, the whole nine, and then that's how they got the show in Vegas.
Oh, okay. What year was that?
Back in 2012.
Gotcha.
Maybe no, it might have been a little bit sooner. About 10 to 12 around.
So that was pretty early days to do something like that and then get a Vegas show.
Oh yeah.
Because like with AGT and that, it's common now. Like half the shows on the strip are from like that show.
Right.
But back in that day, that was kind of probably one of the first people to do that.
As a dance crew, biggest thing ever.
Yeah, that's really cool.
They were running their show and then had auditions for it. And
where were they based out of? What casino?
At first they were at MGM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then from there they went over to Monte Carlo, which is now Park MGM.
Okay.
And then from Park MGM they went to Luxor, and those Monte Carlo and Luxor were the two shows that I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then when they moved back to MGM, that's when I left the show to pursue my painting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So within that show, that's when I met, my mentor, and he was just like, "Hey, would you ever want to do this?" And I was just like, "Yeah, man. Like, I just can't dance for the rest of my life." And I've been looking for a missing piece of the puzzle that I would love to do in my craft, to try to do one-man shows. And I was already working on music and different things that all kind of accumulated around what I could do and stuff too. So he showed me in 2 weeks out in his warehouse in Sacramento, and from then, like, I just started kind of taking it into my own hands.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's going from a crew from like eight to 10 people. It seemed like you guys are really tight, and then you're getting a job with like Jabbawockeez. Is it hard to leave the crew for like selfish reasons?
No, it wasn't selfish. We were all helping.
Well, I don't mean selfish.
No, but
yeah.
Yeah.
You're part of this crew and you're growing, you're trying to get someone together, and all of a sudden you get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Is that hard to step away, or is everyone like, nah, dude, go for it? Like this, you'd be crazy not to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sorry, I missed your question too. Like hard for auditioning for Jabba and all that. No,
you're good.
Yeah. But,
because I mean, like you're like this, but an opportunity is an opportunity. And
I mean, the golden idea was to be our own Jabbawockeez, to be our own show. I mean, after doing the Broadway show, we were like, man, we should do this in Vegas. But it's just, it takes everybody to be in the same mindset. We're clashing heads and all that stuff too. Trying to do as best as we can, pushing each other to make each other better. But then some people could take it very hard and not so helpful. And some people maybe just lost the love for it, and it's tough, but we all got to figure out what we got to do. And then maybe we could come back around and help each other out.
So would you say they were supportive when like you took that step to branch off?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost kind of like you're in a school of dolphins, like you want to go with each other, but then some of them kind of just venture off, or like, flying ducks, just they all kind of like go off on their own. But maybe you could come back and figure it out. And, to this day, we're still friends with everybody, and
so that's cool.
Yeah, we get to do shows together every now and then. Like, hey, you're booked on this gig. All right, cool, me too. Or they'll call us back for like Super Crew stuff, which, they're known for doing the TV show and still doing like corporate gigs and stuff too. So we get to come together and recreate something or use some of the stuff from the back in the day as greatest hits, and then do shows together. Okay. So it feels
I was just
cool.
wondering, like when I got Thunder, everyone in Australia, all my friends, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Like I think I had one supportive friend out of everybody.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why would you want to do that? I'm like, I'm literally getting paid to go to a different country for the way I look.
Right.
To be on stage in Las Vegas. I mean,
yeah,
doesn't really come across to many people.
No.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what have I got to I can always come back.
Yeah.
When I'm 60, I've got a story to tell my grandkids.
Heck
like,
yeah, man.
My attitude was like, why not? But like everyone else was like, I don't know. That's I was just wondering how it went for you.
That's pretty much the exact same idea. I was just like, why not? Why can't I just do this? I mean, I'm a short guy, can't get into many auditions. But like, I always see these auditions where like 5'9" and up, or certain slender, certain look. Me 5'2", 5'3".
Oh, you really?
Yeah. So I'm a little guy. I'm like Kevin Hart size.
Oh yeah.
So I had to figure out a way to make myself look bigger.
Is there an advantage to being shorter as a breakdancer?
Maybe yes, but like I said, I've seen all different sizes of people breakdancing. Like people in France, they're all huge, like as tall as you. And they're all flying and doing it. And I'm like, damn, maybe because they're tall, it's easier for them. But honestly...
But what about the leverage game, like as far as being stronger and being able to hold yourself in different positions because you got shorter limbs?
Kinda, but I think it's...
no, I get no idea what I'm talking about.
It's no, you're fine.
No, I'm just curious, because I know like doing weights, right?
Yeah.
I know shorter guys always build up quicker.
Yeah.
They're a lot stronger. They got shorter leverage.
Yes.
Some of my shorter friends would get my size very quickly. It took me forever to put size on.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, it's advantage or disadvantage being as small as you are as a dancer.
I guess certain things could be certain things, but if you don't learn the move, then you can't be good at the move. Okay. So depending on what it is,
so technique no matter what.
Technique no matter what, through and thin, because it's all core strength. I mean, you could see bigger, chubbier guys, being able to throw themselves more than me. And they just know how to throw their body. They know their weight, body awareness, certain things that they're better at than other people. And then some other people are better at certain other moves too. Okay. So all different sizes. It just depends on how much you work that muscle or that move that you want to get. Right? Yeah.
Like, kind of like guitar, repetition.
Yes.
Till it becomes second nature.
Yeah. It's almost asking like a skateboarder, like if they're better because they're shorter. Or if they're better if they're taller.
Yeah, I skated. It's all technique.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same exact
repetition
thing. Otherwise, every little person out there would be so good at breakdancing. We'd have no jobs. I was
just wondering if it's advantage or not, but that's interesting.
Yeah. No.
I want to get to what you're doing now, but I'm still curious to find out more about the Jabbawockeez experience. Yeah. What was your highs and lows? Did you travel? Were you just based in Las Vegas?
Just based in Las Vegas. So I wasn't a Jabbawockeez. I was just part of the show. Okay. So the Jabbawockeez is the ones who won the competition. And then the solid crew, but then they opened it up because it's a gimmick with a mask. Yeah. So that was cool. It's almost like Blue Man Group.
Yeah, that's the kind of first thing comes to my mind.
Yeah. So, which was great. It was a great learning experience, and just, growing up, seeing those guys doing that, it's just like, damn, I would love to just put the mask on and see what it was like. So then I started becoming part of the show, learned how to do improv acting with certain people from the crowd that I was bringing up on stage. That's cool. And which was funny is that I was acting how to paint in one of their shows. Oh, really? And then I became a painter. So that was kind of cool to see that all come.
And no one knows who you are, what you look like, right?
No.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, that was a fun part.
You can put this persona on.
Yeah. And it was the greatest part of learning that world, of what they built, and then being able to bring like famous people up on stage and then doing funny things with them and then trying to make them do a flip. And then they're like, no. And then you use your like gimmicks. You're like, no, they're gonna break their necks and stuff. Gotcha. They're gonna have to sign a sue me or something. Yeah. Just all these little gestures that you use as a Jabbawockeez in their world.
I like it. I remember doing a promo with some of the guys, and they're in character the whole time.
Yeah, that's the best part.
It's amazing. They're always in character.
Yes,
and they're so funny. Like they're just cool to be around.
Yeah. It's fun because you don't have to be yourself. You can just be somebody else.
Yeah, whereas like our faces are always out. And always out. Yep. It'd be cool just to hide behind a mask.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing because I would love that. I mean, back in the day, I used to think like I want a job that I can't be me. And it was always that. And it was fun because after, you just take off the mask, go about your day, and you walk out and you're like, oh, that must have been a cool show. And then you see people like, oh, I love them. So great. And you could just walk to your car with nobody bothering you.
That's hilarious. Whereas like when we finished the show, like you just got hunted down. Yeah. Everyone knew who you were. Right. Especially if some girl liked a certain guy, like they were locked on that guy the whole show. So as soon as you got out, they'll throw on you.
Yes, it was like a superhero kind of feel. Yeah. Clark Kent.
That's cool. I like that. You just can just hide. What's some of the cool things come out of it? Like meeting certain people or certain show or...
Yeah, so I met
what's the most rewarding stuff?
Like, which was cool that came into fruition was I got asked from a friend to see if I could bring Victor Dre, the owner of Dre's nightclub, to the show. And I got him all tickets to the show. And, I asked Jabbawockeez if it was cool. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. We'll work it out. And it was a big, huge ton of people that came with them. And they came to see the show and we got them backstage and got to meet them. And I got to meet them without the mask, And then about a year later, that's when I started painting. And one of the first gigs I got was painting Victor Dre at Dre's nightclub. for a corporate event.
So remembered you.
So that's what I was hoping. And then that's what ended up happening because I painted him because they didn't know what they wanted me to paint. So I was like, I'm going to paint Victor Dre. So while I'm painting him, from what I heard at that time is like, Twitter was starting to blow up a little bit more now. And all that stuff was already like brought into Spectrum and Instagram and all that. And people were sending it to him. And I heard that he was on a private plane on his way back to land to the Vegas. And they were just sending him tweets of me painting him. And when he landed the next day, I had a meeting with him at Dre's nightclub. And he was like, hey, man, that was pretty nice painting that you made of me. I was awesome. Like, thanks, bro. It's good to see you. He's like, weren't you that Jabbawockeez? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, you remembered me. He's like, yeah, man, what are you doing painting now? I was like, awesome. This is what I do now.
That's the beauty of social, right?
Yeah.
You can sit at home and do nothing, or you can make something happen.
Yes.
There's a guy I follow on TikTok. He's in New York and he sketches strangers on the tram. On the train.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
On the subway, everything.
On the subway. Yeah. He just sits in front of the person, sketches them in film, and has the balls to film them live as he gives them the picture.
Yes.
Not getting punched in the face or then person screaming, "Why your phone on me?"
Yeah.
And this guy is so big now. He's so talented.
Yeah.
But that talent could never be discovered, or he could have done something about it and made him who he is today.
Right.
And that guy who's like, "What do you do for a living?" You seen that guy?
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen that guy?
Oh, no, yeah. He goes up to people that are driving like nice cars and stuff. Yes.
And he's literally been with the president now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Insane, right?
That is pretty
just
crazy.
Taking an idea and going with it and putting himself out there. And just, I love it. Just kind of what you're doing.
Start your own TV show.
You have your own podcast or whatever it is, right?
That's what it is.
Not worrying about what anyone else thinks besides what you want to do for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And then your audience finds you, or you find your audience as well too, and it comes together.
And certain people will resonate with certain people, right?
Yeah.
There's people going to love me, people going to hate me, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And another Will Smith quote I really like, try to impress everybody, you impress nobody. Just being you for you and doing what feels right for you and what's true to your morals, your values.
And don't get slapped.
And don't get what?
Don't get slapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No.
So I want to try to sum up what you do now. So now you paint live in front of an audience.
Yeah, performance painting.
Yeah. And you break dance at the same time.
Yes.
That's pretty nuts.
Thanks.
That's pretty cool.
I also make the music to it.
You make the music to it?
Yeah. I'll get with friends or producers or make the music on my own.
So you're doing the whole show. You're organizing the whole show.
Yeah, from beginning to end. Besides the agencies helping me book the work, I mean, I have a bunch of agencies out here because Nevada's a non-competitive state.
Okay.
So I get to kind of get the theme from the corporate company or whoever wants to put a show together with me. I'll get the idea of what they want me to paint.
Oh, and then you'll cater the show to what they want.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
they'll give you a time limit and things to hell the show?
They'll give me a time limit too.
So hey, if I come to you, hey, I need a 10-minute show and I need you to paint my pretty face.
Yeah.
you'll
and they'll be like, what's your favorite songs?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then I could build around it as well. Light fire in the show.
Really?
Yeah.
So a question though, it's got to take you a certain amount of time to do the painting.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're going faster, sometimes you're dragging it out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
And then I could fit certain things in the show. I could fit like a magic trick in there, or I could fit a comedy act where I act like my phone's ringing in the middle of it, and then I pick it up, and then next thing you know, it's like Adele going "hello," and then it goes into that song.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So little
but
gimmicks.
you can't curry every stroke. I mean, there's got to be like curry to a certain point, but also some
freehand
stuff in there.
Definitely.
How do you figure that out?
Practice.
Okay.
Yeah. So of course I'll practice it to make it better, and then trying to map it out with the music to make sure it's kind of following along, because sometimes it's like better to make the painting first and then the music, or sometimes the opposite.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if I can't find the music, I'm gonna be like, let me go paint it first. And then let me figure out my direction.
Will you always do the painting first, like up behind the scenes, before you do the performance? So
just to feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, might as well practice perfect,
Which one's better?
It depends on what I'm painting.
Really?
Yeah.
So sometimes the performance will be better than the one at home in your own time.
I mean, it's all different. Every painting is different.
That's interesting.
That's the beauty of it, though, too. It's the struggle, but it's the beauty of the process. Like, that's why anything that you go through in life, the beauty of it is in the process. You can't get that back.
Dude, I always talk about that. Like,
man.
Stop trying to get here and enjoy the journey, enjoy the process.
Seriously, like there's a time where I always try to stop and smell the roses a little bit, but I got a bunch of other shit to do. But at the same time too, I love
interesting.
Enjoying it.
Even the podcast, man, like every podcast has been just as valuable as the next. Nice. They're all being absolutely amazing, and I would do them all again given the opportunity. I would love to sit there and talk to Richard Branson. I love to talk to Sonso, but these conversations are priceless.
Yeah, man.
I'm enjoying every podcast, and I'm enjoying the journey.
That's awesome.
And I'm enjoying the struggle of getting the next guest, or organizing the next person, or the next person canceling, and then having to improvise.
Right.
I'm enjoying that, and it's making me grow.
That's amazing, dude. That's how you know your format. You know what it's going to turn into. Maybe it's a series. Maybe it turns into something else differently.
The unknown, right? Not knowing where it's going to go. Like what you're doing right now could be different in a couple of years.
Yeah, the creativity is not endless.
You got to do what you're doing now to get where you may be later.
Right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, because I write down certain goals that I have for the year, even though we're coming down to the end of 2022. I write down as many goals as I can for the year to try to knock them out. Yeah. Sometimes they're mostly in my head, but I try to get to them if I write them down as well. And then if I don't get through them, I'm like, fuck, I need to figure out how to put them into the next year. And if I don't, then I got to just trash them. But then I also have those goals that I try to get to in the next 5-10 years. Okay. Which is the bigger, picture. And, it's just that journey of it, like you said, it changes. And you can figure out ways to make it work, or it might change into something. But the beauty of it is just all creativity that never ends.
Goals. I love goals. You said some of them in your head. When you write them down, where do you write them down? Where are you putting them?
Yeah, just mostly in my head, honestly. But if not, I have my planner. But I need a planner to plan on my planner. Because I forget to write on my planner all the time.
Gotcha.
So it's tough because my hands are like, I got so many things to do. Yeah. And I know I have a phone and I can do it, but then I don't want nobody hearing my secrets.
Dude, I've been journaling lately, and
good.
I want to be as open as possible, but I don't want someone coming across and reading it.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, right now it's kept in my work bag, but I'm like, if I lose my work bag, or if I leave it at the coffee shop, I'm like, I feel the pain.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, my goals are plastered on a big whiteboard above my office, which is great because when I'm in the kitchen, anytime I'm in the house, I can read them, subconsciously read them. But if anyone comes around the house, they're reading my goals.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
you just got to cover it or something.
And
I'm not,
I'm not ashamed of them, but some of them are pretty like, money-wise and that, and it's like, oh, it's pretty out there for some people. Yeah. So like, is this a good thing? Yeah. Should I try to keep it closer? But I think it's important to read your goals. Yeah. I think it's even more important to write down your goals.
Yes.
So
it is.
Yeah, I feel your pain there. It's tricky.
It's suffering, but at the same time too, you can figure out a way to like close it or something too, but you have to have that no matter what. Even the most person that's like the happiest in the world, they want to have goals though, or they should have goals.
Yeah, I talk about this a lot. Sometimes it's important to stop and evaluate. And it's very easy to go, like, especially when you're just working a 9-to-5 in a regular job. You're just going through the motions, another weekend, drinking another weekend. Before you know it, 6 months, a year's gone by, and like, what have I accomplished?
Right.
What were my goals? What did I want to get out of this? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Like, taking the time to kind of like you say, like smelling the roses, or like, what am I doing this for? Like, why am I living this life?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you enjoy what you do, right?
Yeah, it's all the passion,
which is huge.
And plus on layers on it as well. Like a cousin of mine passed when I was starting to get into painting from the Jabbawockeez. She got to see me perform and all that, but she passed at a young age at 12. And the last thing she drew on my phone. Well, she was like she was losing it to cancer, tumor at the same time. So it was kind of tough, but I made a promise to her, that I would always continue what I was going to do, because she was the one who told me, like, you should paint. And then the last thing she drew on my phone was a heart on my screen. Oh, really? And then I screenshot it, and then I tattooed it on my back. Oh, awesome. And that was the last thing I could say, or she could tell me in a way, because I never got to, like, ask her what it meant. And I think she was just trying to tell me to follow my heart. That's awesome. So that was a passionate thing that, like, just really goldenized it. And for me, doing that as backpacking that now, when she's with me, I'm like, I can't stop. But then there's also like me having my girl and her family and her daughters. That makes it bigger thing to like really push for more now too. And then, you know, if I want a family soon, you know, or something, I want to be able to build on that. But then at the same time too, I got to give myself that credit and break to be like, you got to enjoy it. You got to either enjoy it or like stop and give time to them as well. So balancing all this,
right?
it's a lot. It's a tricky thing to do, but you know, it's part of it. And you kind of have to roll with the punches and stuff too.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As far as the business, how long have you been doing it?
So now it's going on 8 to 9 years now. Oh, probably 10 actually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, maybe 8, 9
the dancing
years.
and that.
Oh,
and the painting.
Yeah, performance painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been on for 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the impression that you had been doing it. Oh, so you've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
So how often are you getting booked?
So far it's been like maybe 2 to 4 times a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are different types of paintings.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a girl wearing a wedding dress, and I'm painting her while she's wearing it.
That's super cool.
That cool. That's
Dude,
and then
300 weddings a day in Las Vegas.
I wish. Well, no,
I
they're
mean,
not getting married. Yeah,
but I mean that's a huge opportunity, right? So and then you got conventions, you got CES, you got a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah, I just need to figure out how to get it all back out there and like just keep building them to just turn into it.
I'll help you with the content because I feel like that can definitely help you.
Oh, I appreciate
the photos and videos. That'll help you a lot.
Yeah, because I mean, I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the perfect city for it, right?
Yeah.
And you have the ability to travel. And it's just a one-man show, right? So once you prep it, where are you putting the music? Just on the computer or something?
In my computer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So computer, canvas.
Yep.
Me,
and then if I wanted to work with a dance group like other dancers out here, they're more than willing to help me out. I could choreograph it, or if not, we could come together and I'm always open to suggestions to create this outlook that I want to be able to do.
So cool, like a business opening up or a new logo or
a halftime show for the Raiders or for the Golden Knights.
What's some of the best things you've done with it? Like, I don't say best things. What's some of the like coolest things you've done so far with it?
I got to paint Robert De Niro in front of him.
Did you?
Yeah, I got to see him again.
That's cool.
Yeah, to kind of bring it all around. And then
did you ask where you're from, or?
No. This time he was in Vegas, so he couldn't ask me again. But I reminded him, I was like, I met you. This is the second time I'm meeting you. But then next time, I actually got to ask him to burn my art in front of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just like, hey, not his painting, but I gave him a little printout of Kanye West making out with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And of course, he's a big hater on him, you know? So I gave it to him, and he was just like, oh, God. And I was like, yeah, exactly. I want you to burn my art in front of me, and I'm going to record you doing it. This is going to be great content. This will help like me like get out there more. But at the same time, too, a little funny comedy aspect. And then on top of it, just a bunch of other stuff. But then Chef Nobu, it was Nobu anniversary, 5th anniversary party. He stopped him and he goes, no, you have nowhere to throw it. I was like, oh yeah, we're on the rooftop of Caesar's Palace. Not gonna be able to throw this piece of paper anywhere. So that's been kind of cool.
That's cool. What else have you done?
Got to open up for Chris Brown when I first started at Dre's nightclub.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, in front of Quincy Jones.
Cool.
And I went with a Thriller theme, painted them. And those are my, younger days of it. And I've gotten a lot better since then. Trey Songz, Future. I've gone to perform with my mentor in London, and we did a TV show out there.
Oh, did you really?
We painted Michael Jackson together in 2 minutes.
Oh, awesome.
And then I got to choreograph the dancers to be able to be a part of it.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Have you got to travel a lot?
Yeah.
Like
for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to do a movie out in Philippines for a dance movie, but it never came out.
We just say it did.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's huge over there. It's like number one. It's the number one movie over there, right?
If it did, I want to capture it because I haven't seen it, but I don't think it ever came out. But it was just the opportunity to go meet Ron English there.
Yeah.
He's a big, huge artist, and getting to meet him and being like, wow, you're like Ron English, like you're, big, huge art.
That was cool.
Phenomenon.
Have you done any promos with art galleries around or anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, I've kind of thrown some stuff together, but I've done a lot of charity events.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, like Down syndrome out here, or any other ones like Monday's Dark. Okay. I've got to do one for them, and then a couple other ones like muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, and all that. And that's the biggest thing. American Heart Association too.
I don't know you that well, but you seem like a good guy. You just seem like a very wholesome,
Thanks, man.
Genuine guy.
Appreciate it.
And I mean, they're the type of people that I want to resonate with. They're the type of people that you want to hang out with, be friends with. But it's really it's refreshing. It's humbling to see. So that's awesome that you do that, man.
Thank you.
Because whether it's with the podcast or whether it's with my content creation, I kind of want to do the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's one thing to make money, but giving back and helping people when you can, however you can, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I think that how old are you now?
Me, 38.
Yeah, I think the older we get, like the more we kind of see what's really important.
Yeah, and then you want to just see if somebody else can run with it. Run with the
Yeah,
torch,
it could just inspire other people, actually.
Yeah, they just got to know how to pay it back, though. No, I'm saying. But no, it just, that to me is just a bigger thing now for mental health, like.
Yeah.
A big thing that I see a lot more that I've gone through struggles with. I wouldn't want people to go through it, but then at the same time, too, that's how you have to learn how to experience it.
Do you mind sharing what type of mental health stuff you struggle with?
Like anything from, like, I didn't do a painting that was good at a show. Like, there was something that I could have been done better. Beating myself up over.
You got a high expectation for yourself, though, right?
Yeah,
me too.
It's always like that, and it's hard to kill, but the only way of killing it is just to do as best as you can. I think, in my perspective,
no, I agree.
Art, because we're on a stage.
Do you think I was literally talking about this today? Like, we compare ourselves with other people. Do you think it's more important to compare yourself with yourself and just try to be a better version of you? And that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Or just kind of take it easy on yourself to understand what can make it better. Because if you don't do it right the first time, hopefully you get another advantage and chance to be able to do it again the next time. But do it better. But all the things, not just to do it for that one moment, it's all the things building up to that one moment to get you there. Like, how were you training for it? Like me, I'm trying to be like an athletic painter, and those things don't mix. But why not? Just make a way for it. Make something that's yours, appreciate it, to be able to share with others, and then enjoy it, and then see if somebody else is captured by it that can take you and your art to be able to move on to something that they're trying to portray, or somebody else takes it and then runs with it on their own way, which is a cool part about it, though, too. That's why I kind of feel like I always want to work with anybody who's trying to do something good for the world, and that's if I can share my talent and my art to be able to do that with them. And then seeing where it could go from. It could be a grand opening for a company of a new clothing line. It could be...
it could be Apple, right?
It could be Apple,
It could be something huge.
Yeah, I've gone...
Just looking to do something unique and different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even...
TV commercial being a big one, right?
Yeah. I've got to do stuff for Facebook at their headquarters where I painted them for their Juneteenth.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it was just to...
Companies are always looking for some new type of marketing thing that catches people's attention.
And this was just for, like, their employees that they wanted to have a little showcase in their little Facebook headquarters city. And I just got to make paintings of, like, Nipsey Hussle, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and then they were just like, why do you paint so many, black people and stuff too? And I'm like, because I guess from the hip hop era of me dancing and all this stuff kind of portrayed me into this way. But I also paint all these other things as well.
Plus that needs more exposure than anything, right?
Yeah. So
what comes to my mind too, there's so as a videographer, there's people on TikTok who are making commercials from the lounge room on Bang Energy, or they're making these really epic stuff for free of all these companies.
Yeah.
And what's happening, these companies are seeing it and recognizing it and eventually hiring these people.
Yeah.
So you could definitely do that.
Yeah.
You could be like, okay, like just pick 10 companies that you potentially like. Nike, I really want to work with Nike.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some epic stuff for Nike for as long as it takes before they pick up that phone and they call me to hire me.
Yeah.
You really could do that if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a lot of spare time to kind of, like, you got your jobs here and there, but you could definitely spend time being creative on trying to get to the realm that you're trying to get to.
Right.
What is that? Who potentially do you want to work with?
Anybody.
But if you could pick any type, like, you'd obviously, like, weddings are cool, but I don't see you as a wedding guy.
Of course, yeah. I would like to work with a lot of nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
And then, being able to be more with the communities and stuff too. I think that for me will help me build on not just my art as well, but building on what I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to use as my purpose. But then from there, maybe it can help along with, like, of course, like performing at the World Cup, doing a halftime show, or any of those things can help. And for me as well, but to spread the word, to commemorate what I'm doing as well for everybody to enjoy, but at the same time too, for a great purpose. So that to me is like a big, huge proponent of what I want to do. Not more so a brand or an artist or something, but more of like what I'm trying to pursue, but I'm open to suggestions.
More of a message.
Yeah.
something meaningful opposed to just selling more shoes or
right.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, those are cool and it's fun and all that, those
Pays
drops and all that,
bills.
but and then it's like, well, you know, it's not what I can take or what they could take. You know, maybe it's the message itself. I think is a lot bigger.
Okay. And just to finish up with, like, you kind of mentioned that being part of your goals, but where do you want to go in the future with this?
I mean, I would love to have my own show one day. That would be cool. Like
on the strip or something?
Yeah, or touring.
You'd be okay with touring, even like at your age now? And
yeah, I think I could figure it out.
Yeah, you're not like because I know you get to a certain age, like, I kind of want to stay comfortable. And but you're okay to it if that came up? Yeah,
because if I could turn down like a whole year of like trying to do 100 shows.
And do a 3-month stint or something. Right?
Yeah, I could do 100 shows in 6 months, and then the next 6 months I can just try to build off of what I'm doing
that's
else.
A good point.
And then try to do other things as well too.
Yeah.
So something like that I can figure out that phases throughout the year.
Gotcha.
And then also have my time to myself and my family and stuff too. So that's
that's cool. Yeah. And where do you, as far as like skill, what do you need to get better at, you think? Is it just slowly getting better at the dancing, slowly getting better at the painting, slowly getting better at improvising the two of them? Like, is there anything that you really see that you're like, hey, I really want to be able to do this? Or...
I mean, it's always kind of like maintaining for me as well. It's like trying to get better at dancing, of course, but without being able to have good health. You know, I want to be a better cook. I want to be a better fitness for myself. I want to be better at timing. I want to be better at these certain things to be able to kind of polish all that around. So it's hard to like really pick one because it's all of it is I do so many things differently. Even it could be like me wanting to go into comedy or going into starting my own podcast. It could be turning into that. So all those different types of muscles that I want to keep doing rather than just thinking of one muscle, think of the whole body of work.
I like that.
You know.
So one more question for you. Yeah. I forgot about it. Longevity. I feel like gymnasts are probably one of the best people for longevity. Definitely. But I think breakdancing is probably pretty damn close to a gymnast. Yeah, I would say. Do you feel really young? Because I'm sure you're very flexible. Like you said, you got ridiculous core strength. You got the flexibility. And unless you've injured yourself pretty major, I'm sure you feel pretty damn amazing for your age. Yeah, a little bit better than most. I would say a lot better than most, right? Funny. But it just depends on how you know your body. From breakdancing, you learn more about your body, just like gymnasts do. But then also like a fighter does, you know? I always match up gymnasts, breakdancing, and UFC fighters are about the hardest working athletic people out there. Yeah. I mean, of course, football and all these other things, rugby itself, you know? But you have to be able to perform that every time and make sure it's just as perfect or if not better at the same time too. Because I've lost a lot of moves that I can't do anymore. Just from getting older? Yeah, or just getting older, not training it. Just things don't move the certain ways that they're supposed to. So I have to figure out another move that'll probably just be as good as it, or if not, invent another move. In the old man version. Yeah. Because I mean, I'm 43 and I go to the gym, but I could be a lot more flexible. Right. I could be a lot more fit, like half help. But you've got it all. No, like with what you do, like, and I don't mean you particularly, but what you do is so damn well-rounded and ridiculously hard. And only a small percent of the population can do what you do. A very small percent. So I mean, I don't know. I just think it's pretty amazing for longevity. And you mentioned like having someone who was 60 still doing it. Yeah, I mean, you're 60 doing this, you're going to feel like you're 30. I hope, man. I hope. Because that's the whole biggest point, I think, for me is trying to stay young. Is really stay young and the creativity and everything to just still keep working. No matter how old I am. Like, just want to keep going as long as I can. My biggest role model was James Brown. He basically worked till he was done, you know, performing and everything. But of course I don't want to be up there being like playing the piano, like falling asleep or something, you know, but it's that purpose of trying to keep going as much as possible. But I would say if I had to pick one out of all the things, flexibility. Okay. Yeah. And for someone out there watching, you think flexibility means the biggest one? Yeah. Gotcha. Like my girl's probably mad at me right now because I'm supposed to be running over to her home, but yeah. We're going to finish up anyway, man. Thank you so much, man. That was amazing. I appreciate it. Good luck to you. Thank you. Dude, I know you're going to do it because I know what you've done. Thanks. And I know you can do anything you want to. Appreciate it.